We're Leads Online. I'm Eric.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Connor. I'm Sam. Cody.
Our objective was to try and take the online aspect of Leads and try to give it a bigger draw and draw bigger interest into it. So when we first came together, we went right to their online outlets. We went to their Facebook, their Instagram, and their Twitter. And we noticed after meeting with Matt and looking at it, it wasn't a big draw, and we started to realize it's because it's so community oriented. So we wanted to try to work with that and try to help improve it. We wanted to help draw attention to Leads Market within the school and just give it more attention because, like the other group said, there are plenty of other things from here to Leads that you could just go to that are quicker, that are more price friendly, which helps college students, and you can get the same things outside of the healthier options, which always isn't the biggest peak. Okay. And also the cookbook that it said on the last slide. So their organization's mission statement and vision statement more or less are kind of connected because they are both like helping, they both say help the community. And the part that drew my attention is this sense of place and our contributions to the growth, integrity, and rich tradition of Westport and the surrounding communities is why Leads has been the hub of the community for over 16 years. So that kind of was eye-opening, and they really matter and they have potential to go far. It's just, we wanted to help them out from the online portion because once we saw the app, we saw there were some tweaks that could be made to help, not only just within the community, but all over this side of the state. So the SWOT analysis, their strengths, like I said, they're locally sourced and organic foods. They make the best variety of which you can get. And they're a large local commitment. When they give back to the community gives back to them with the local farmers and the people that are always dependent on their foods. And the weaknesses, the delivery, they only have one delivery truck if I'm not mistaken, and so that takes a lot more time than if they had multiple. So if they could expand that, that would also help draw and their location. With the local commitment, I guess it's a strength and a weakness because you're not reaching outside of that specific area.
And jumping on to opportunities, they can really capitalize on their specialty foods, so like artisan foods and stuff like that. It's like not just locally sourced and organic, but you get certain foods that are outside the region that you can ask for, and they'll bring it in for you. And another big opportunity, I believe, is the iChef meal box because, like us, we probably all have our own like cooking segments that we do at night, and we all like, pretty much cook a box of pasta or like mac and cheese or something. But if we can get a box of like prep food and just pretty much throw it into a container and cook it ourselves, then that would be a huge opportunity for not us just eating, but for the people that are selling it to us. Obviously, a big threat is like the regional grocery chains, like a couple other groups have said before, and as well as the meal kit competitors. Like iChef isn't right up there with Blue Apron or HelloFresh is, but that's our SWOT analysis.
So our survey, due to the restriction on time, we figured we'd change the scope of our project. So originally, we wanted to do a survey the entire time to get the perspective on people. But originally our thought was we could deliver the survey, the handwritten survey part, out to people, and we realized like at other houses from here to Lee's, that way we're narrowing the range. But we realized that's probably an unrealistic thing to ask people we don't know to help us out. So we changed it to just the UMass Dartmouth campus student body, and we tried to see what their interests were, which we will show you later on the slide. And it was very eye-opening. The issues, like I said, were just trying to see what like the best answers would be and how to get the best out of this survey.
And so when we changed our project scope, we had to adjust our survey questions as well to tailor to our new demographic. And the way we held out our surveys, we actually went around the campus and we got a lot of no's or not interested. So we had to cast out another line and find a way to survey the campus without getting mixed numbers from online Facebook groups or anything like that. So we found a closed Facebook group for UMass Dartmouth students only to take it, and there was a lot more participation there than there was like from people just wanting to take it ourselves. But a couple of the key survey questions was age. Do you cook on your own? Do you prefer eating on or off campus, deliver or pickup? But we'll get more into that with our analysis. Of course, the age demographic that we hit was 21 and 23. I believe that the group that we submitted our survey onto was a little bit more of a higher demographic for the UMass Dartmouth group. So we had a large majority in the like senior to junior range.
And some more results from the question if you're interested in buying local and healthy groceries. Approximately 36 to 37 people did in fact agree that they would like to purchase local and healthy groceries, meaning the demand is actually there. And
So we also surveyed for would people rather shop for groceries online, and it's pretty astounding that there aren't a lot of people that would rather order online. You know, you'd rather go and pick out your bruised bananas from the bananas you want to pick out, and but we would also rather apparently as a group on campus have our food delivered, since it's a lot easier and we're all lazy. So.
another huge question we had on our survey is the actual question of do you cook your own meals, because local and healthy foods obviously need to be prepared freshly, and from our survey results it turned out good. About 26 to 27 people did in fact agree they would prefer to cook their own meals, and for how often, it seems that about 10 to 11 people frequently cook their own meals, meaning the demand is also there.
In terms of meal kits like iChef or Blue Apron, there was a good amount of people that would like to be interested into it, but maybe it was like 24 to 20, so there's not a huge gap in between, so maybe people just don't really understand too much about how it could like affect their eating habits, but so far we have a positive number of yes.
Another huge question off our survey results is obviously the accessibility of eating on campus or off campus. A lot of people like to eat on campus just because of the convenient factor, but our survey results turned out different, that approximately 27 to 28 people prefer to eat off campus. So the demand for the local and healthy food is there, it's just the convenient factor of getting to the food.
This is a big one for a lot of people because we don't get offered a lot of healthy opportunities using our Coursera Cash. So to have our healthy food delivered right to us, I mean that's like a huge astounding yes. But there's like we've talked to Matt before that it's in the weeds for a lot of paperwork, and to get yourself as a private company into a government institution. So it's hard to do, but people are willing to pay out for it if it's possible.
Obviously, a huge part of eating healthy is the aspect of it being cost-friendly. In regards to being cost-friendly, it seemed that about 33 to 34 people agreed that they would rather. But I think if you're going to eat healthy and like locally, that it's a little bit worth it to spend the extra buck to actually eat healthy and locally.
So lastly, if your food was delivered on campus, from off campus, would you still eat on campus food frequently? And a lot of people have said no. And I mean, I believe that speaks for a lot of us here as well. I mean, we could get food delivered that's other than fatty foods that are offered like Wendy's and stuff like that here, then that would be really beneficial.
So now we'll go into what our recommendations are based off of our survey. So how we went about our survey, like expanding on what Connor said earlier, there's this closed Facebook group on Facebook called the UMD Black Market, and we posted to that because that's like you have both students that are currently attending, some alumni. So that's where you saw in the age demographic, the 26 plus was most likely some alumni though. So we got a total of 45 results in from our survey. Not as much as we were hoping for, but Facebook was a huge thing. That's where the majority of our surveys came from. Sam also did some paper surveys. He went around campus asking friends and roommates, to please take it out, and he got about 15 of those 45 surveys from that. So, as you can see, what we were our objective with this survey was, is there any interest in the UMass community for this? And I think we kind of brushed the surface in answering that with yes. If this service was provided to them, there would be a significant portion of the students who would be engaging in this. And obviously, when we got to like the cost-friendly versus healthy, or like the item specifically they want to buy versus cost-friendly, they went with the cost-friendly. But I think if you did the delivery, people would be willing to pay an extra $5 to get something really helpful and they don't have to get out of their way. They're paying for the convenience at that point, and that you can charge them up for that. But yes, I would recommend if another group were to pick this up, maybe do another survey and see if they can get a larger pool of people. Because, a statistic rule is that the more surveys you have, the more your population size is, the closer you get to the true mean. So we were able to brush the surface, but we don't have the most definitive answer we could have had. But I think we were able to do a good job with answering that question. And so our summary, I believe that there is interest again in the online segment, and I think we all the work we did, shows that. We have the graph if you like. I have the raw data and an Excel spreadsheet if you also like that. I can send you that via email. And really what we're going to go into further now is what we've been reviewing about the email portion of it, both the app, because I did do a dry run. Everything when I went in for the dry one was fine. I didn't feel like doing a follow-up with that because it worked fine, and we addressed those questions back at the midterm. But going forward, we'll say what we learned from this project.
So one of the biggest things going around the group and asking everyone individually what we actually learned was I feel like we shot too high with what we wanted to do with this project. We had so many ideas come into it and everything like that. And as we said before, we had to narrow our scope. So learning how to adapt and actually narrow our scope towards a specific goal was one of the biggest things we learned compared to just trying to do everything based on the time limit we have. One of the other things that we learned was the effective communication we had within the group and with Matt himself, like consistent emails and so on, as well as trying to just get everything done that we wanted to within our group, and actually achieving our sort of like narrow goal, so to speak, was probably the biggest thing in communication that we learned. And finally, we learned how to analyze the surveys and how to base it off Leeds Markets Westport community, because I know you're very community driven compared to sort of like expanding everywhere and everything like that, and keeping that in mind with like the students, although it's kind of far away, they want a completely different thing compared to community. There's sort of like a market where you would have to sort of like isolate them from everyone else, and we didn't want you to do that with your whole community because that's where you were built from and so on. And then just like taking a specific demographic such as 21, 23-year-olds, offering them promotion wouldn't be fair to your loyal customers who come every single day. So then, now we're going to go into what we think you should do first in next steps. And the biggest thing is highlighted from the other group as well as the iChef. We realized how significant students want to learn how to cook, and having a recipe cookbook sort of thing. To do that is a massive thing. Everyone loves to learn how to cook, learning new things. Like, it's the biggest recommendation I can personally offer. And but personally, we would rather you promote it on your app compared to your website, because I know on your website you already have the recipes and all of it listed and so on. If you get it to your app, that might create more interest towards your app and make people go on it and download it and say, oh, there's a new recipe right here, I want to actually try that, and then ordering the ingredients. Another thing we wanted you to do was on your website, I know there's a bunch of recipes with individual ingredients. We think it would be a great idea if you could add like a package all section, like right at the bottom of the ingredients, because specifically like putting in every single ingredient into your delivery is very tedious, especially from a convenience-driven student community. We want convenience completely. We just want everything done straight away. We don't want to have to keep clicking every single thing, even if it's like for an appetizer, for example. There was about 10 ingredients you have to input to actually get to your appetizer. So making that package little section would be very helpful.
Yeah,
as well
I'm sorry, especially jumping on with that, like if you were packaging all the ingredients, you could, if you were trying to push a certain product, like a certain tomato sauce or something like that, you could list it as the recommended product at the top. Sorry, Sam, I'm jumping your toes there.
It also means you can actually market local products that you're actually receiving, because you could put them in this package section and have a sort of like deal with them, be like, hey, if you like give us a discount on some of these ingredients, we'll put it in these recipes that everyone can conveniently just buy, and they'll completely buy it. And then the last thing we would like you to do is actually expand your research in this Dartmouth area. Looking at the other groups, the food co-op, and over here, there is a massive interest in healthy eating, especially in Fairhaven, in Dartmouth, New Bedford, and so on. So because of our like narrow timeline, we couldn't do that, which we actually wanted to. It'll be great going forward if you could either get another group, maybe in like this class again next semester, or maybe do it yourself. Just go around and see if they are actually interested in expansion of Leeds Market. Just like a little bit to the Dartmouth, so you keep community roots in Westport, but a little bit of expansion, keep going further to actually grow your community.
Yeah, and expanding off of all this, I think you guys have a great service. The online segment is great, and I know you're local, but I think if you really did push like just a little bit on the advertising and put yourself a little out there with the app, I think it would have a lot of traction, especially with this community. Everyone's very tech-driven here. And for the next group, like in next semester in the next Management 401 group, there's another class group assigned to Leeds Market Online. They can either continue to affirm our survey or even do the things we wish we could have done, like going for the other demographics, the families that live right outside of the UMass Dartmouth, like campus area, maybe the professors. I don't really know who lives out here, because I'm not from around here, but all the people that are local.
So, any questions?
Questions, Matt?
More of a comment. So sort of the reason why we wanted to bring the online shopping component to you guys as a project was it was sort of newly revamped right around the time we started talking. And obviously anytime you make big steps to redo something and sort of reinvent it, you want to know what kind of interest there is and what areas for expansion we have. And I think you guys definitely helped and now look at taking online shopping maybe to the UMass area and making delivery an option between the two projects. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Comments? All right, thanks, gentlemen.